Welcome back, part 2 of the Marshall JMP, the 1977 lead master volume amp, and I've had to do quite a lot of work to this one to get it something like. If you remember from the first video, it's had those huge screen grid resistors fitted. Put those 3-watt 1K Wellwin resistors. They were original fitment for a lot of the Marshalls. And if you also remember, the voltage selector was disconnected and the plug was missing. That hardwired it for 240 volts but left the pins exposed. Well, I managed to find a plug, the correct selector plug, so I've reinstalled the switch, the wiring for the switch. The mains transformer that they fitted years ago didn't have all the tappings on, but it's got 240, 230 and USA 120, so it's useful if ever it makes its way across the pond. If you remember, the transformer wiring was really sloppy and all over the place. It was a real mess. So that looks a lot better. And the mains indicator, the neon, was broken, so I fitted another one. I'll switch it off. I've replaced the bypass capacitors, the bias capacitors. I've had the board up, and there's quite a bit of messing around the bias circuit, so I've tidied all that up. And these resistors, this 82k, this 100k, this 47 and this 15k, I've put those Iskra resistors in. Someone had made a real mess of it. I've also replaced this 100k resistor. Now when I switched it on for the first time after I'd done all this, it hummed rather badly when you advance the volume controls, and this was due to poor grounding between the pots and chassis. On this model, it's relying for the pots bodies, the body of the pots, to ground all these various ground connections go to the back of the pots. And I was measuring 30 ohms between the pots and chassis, so we tightened those all up, had the pots out and cleaned the surfaces, but I also made a reliable contact here to ground. Also replaced the filter capacitors. Now, I was on YouTube the other day just having a look, and there's one of these been repaired by a guy in America who's got quite a big YouTube following. And he looked at this and he says, oh, well, it's been modded because that's capacitors missing and these resistors are missing. And he went and put them all in. And he should realise that the ST1 board's a generic board. It's there for many different models. So he put all these bits and pieces in and he's wrecked the amplifier. Crazy. I'll not mention his name, but it's thousands and thousands of subscribers. I don't know. I tidied up all this wiring. It was all loose and sloppy. And construction of the Marshalls went downhill a bit during this period compared to the Plexi years. Here's a schematic And the way these things work, you've got an I input. If you go in here, you go to this triode, comes out of the triode, it's routed through the switch contacts on the low jack and goes into volume control, then it's amplified by this triode, then off it goes. If you go into the low input, it just goes into this valve via the volume control, and it's often been amplified. The interesting thing is that this is quite a really high gain circuit, but they limited the gain by putting a large value cathode resistor there, 10k, and that causes what's called cold clipping, asymmetrical clipping. It raises the anode, the plate voltage, to approaching the supply voltage, so it clips on the positive side first, but it does limit the gain. This is popular, it's been used in Soldano, do this, but it goes right up to 22k. If you lower this to something like a 1.5k, 2.2k, and put a capacitor across it, you'll get a really high gain amp. But the trouble is the thing will oscillate and be very noisy. And that's because Marshall were very sloppy with their wiring around the input jacks to the valve bases. And there is a cure. The cure is to fit screened cable and put the grid stopper right on the V1, V1A, and it improves the amp a lot. And there's quite a lot I see these models where it's already been done. So there we have it. It's working great now. Quite a lot of work. Tested all the tubes, we've had all the ground connections off, such as these, and cleaned them. And she's working well. So I hope it's been of interest, and thanks for watching.